Hey, welcome to the Daily Gospel of John. We're starting chapter 2 of John today. On the third day, a wedding took place at Cana in Galilee. Jesus' mother was there, and Jesus and his disciples had also been invited to the wedding. When the wine was gone, Jesus' mother said to him, "They have no more wine." "Dear woman, why do you involve me?" Jesus replied. "My time has not yet come." His mother said to the servants, "Do whatever he tells you." Nearby stood 6 stone water jars, the kind used by the Jews for ceremonial washing, each holding from 20 to 30 gallons. Jesus said to the servants, "Fill the jars with water." So they filled them to the brim. Then he told them, "Now draw some out and take it to the master of the banquet." They did so, and the master of the banquet tasted the water that had been turned into wine. He did not realize where it had come from, though the servants who had drawn the water knew. Then he called the bridegroom aside and said, "Everyone brings out the choice wine first, and then the cheaper wine after the guests have had too much to drink. But you have saved the best till now." This, the first of his miraculous signs, Jesus performed at Cana in Galilee. He thus revealed his glory, and his disciples put their faith in him. So this is a good-sized piece of scripture, 11 verses, John chapter 2. And I'm actually going to be parking here for a few days, looking at different aspects of this first miracle in Jesus' ministry. One thing that always intrigued me a little bit was that he would choose this event and this miracle to launch his earthly ministry. And I guess the thought, why? Why would he choose a wedding? Why would he choose as his first miracle turning water into wine? We see, as the Gospels unfold, we see Jesus healing deaf people, restoring the sight to the blind, touching and healing lepers. We see him calming hurricane-type storms on the sea. We see him walking on the waves. We see him raise the dead, cast out demons. All these miracles, and yet he chooses to kick off his ministry by changing water into wine at a wedding. Pretty interesting stuff, and we'll be taking a look at that. It is one interesting thing that at the beginning of the book we have Genesis, and when God creates man in his own image, first thing pretty much he says is, well, it's not good for the man to be alone. We must make a helper, a partner suitable for him, a soulmate. And so we know the story of Adam and Eve. God creates Eve to that they would complement each other and fit together sexually and emotionally, and to complete each other in a sense. And so we see, and in Genesis chapter 2, where it talks in detail about the creation of Eve, and it says, "For this reason a man shall leave his mother and father and cling to his wife, and the two shall become one flesh." Jesus quotes this later in the Gospels, affirming marriage. And so I think it's interesting that Jesus, right off the bat, in a sense, is giving his seal of approval to the covenant of marriage. He is at a wedding, and he's choosing this wedding to be the launchpad for the ministry that will follow. One other interesting thought about the wedding concept: the book Revelation, the last book in the Bible, ends with a wedding. It's called the Wedding Feast of the Lamb. It's the big kickoff to the eternal party that will be going on in the kingdom to come. So, cool stuff. We will look into it in the next few days. God bless. Thanks.